Alright, what's going on for Guy Nation? I'm your host, DefG, and today we're looking at Frogger, released in arcades by Konami in 1981. And this is way before Konami would later be known for games such as Castlevania, Contra, Metal Gear, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, Frogger is not only considered one of the best arcade games of all time, it is said to have launched essentially Konami's breakthrough into the video game industry. Because before Frogger, they didn't exactly have the best track record. As a matter of fact, some of the games even riffed off of other popular arcade games, most notably, Space Invaders. So for what it was, Frogger is not only an original concept that had never been seen before in 1981, but for what it is, I still think it does remain one of the most iconic arcade games of all time. And it had a pretty big impact on culture and essentially video games way back when. But we're not going to waste any time, we're going to go straight into the gameplay. So, if there was any way to describe Frogger, I believe there's one thing I'm sure everyone's heard in a lifetime. Why'd the chicken cross the road? Well, this is kind of the idea here. Frogger is a game where you essentially cross the road and eventually get to the pond over here, and the idea is to essentially save every frog and get them home safely. As the game continues on, not only does it get a lot more tougher, but you're going to see a lot more obstacles and a lot more enemies. Most notably, the Gator. So this is a game where really anyone can pick it up and try to play it, but only those who master it later on will be able to get any further. And there's a lot of obstacles to be found in this game, especially when you get further in where you have cars that are speeding along the highway. You have the snake, I believe it's an otter if I'm recalling correctly, but there's a lot of hazards in this game. And for what it was, many would compete with this game going for the high score. And essentially there is two ways to boost the score besides the time limit down below. You'll also see there is a blue frog that pops up, and if you manage to rescue her, I believe it is a her, you are given additional bonus points. At the same time, there's also a fly that pops up in the cubbies above that will give you extra points if you're able to land it in the right spot at the right time. Alright, so we're gonna keep going forward now. So there's one of the gators, but that's the gator. So, there's a lot of trial and error to be found in Frogger. And so much point that a lot of people spent a lot of time and a lot of quarters on this game when it came back way out when. I would say this game, along with many others in 1981, had a pretty big impact on the culture surrounding both arcade games as well as pop media at the time. Frogger is one of few games that you could say that really did change video games as a whole. Because not only is the gameplay simplistic, not only does it have a unique look to it, and a unique theme on top of that, but it is completely original, at a time where there was a lot of space games, a lot of maze games, and not a whole lot of originality in that concept. Konami would later go on to make many other video games, though in recent times, it has been pretty controversial for them. But we're gonna keep going. Okay, we can do it. Oh, come on! Alright, so that's game over. So, this game can be considered pretty cruel when it comes to how the frogs are killed. Getting run over, drowning in a lake, eaten by a gator. It's pretty dark stuff when you start to pile it all on top of each other. But, we're doing fine so far. Let's just keep on going. But you gotta wonder, why is it this dangerous for a frog to cross the road? This has actually been a joke that many have made going on with the overall structure of the game and even through time itself. Wouldn't there be an easier way for a frog to cross the road? Oh, what? Alright, but let's keep it going. So Frogger would later go on to become its own main series with Konami itself, though many of the later games didn't exactly have anywhere near the traction of the arcade classic. As a matter of fact, there's probably only one game I would say I actually enjoyed in the Frogger series outside of the arcade original. And that was released for the DS and the PlayStation, either the Vita or the Portable. I think it was the Portable. And it wasn't because of the main game. It was because they recreated Frogger in a 2-screen format. But on that subject, I actually do have another Frogger game for the PlayStation 2. It's pretty bad. I never even got past the first level, as a matter of fact. But if there's one game I think really probably tainted the image of Frogger, it's Frogger Returns. Released for the WiiWare way back in, I believe, 2009, it was essentially Konami's attempt at going back to the classic gameplay, but trying to have a new take on it. And I get it's WiiWare, I get that, but it does not look good. It does not look good. Alright, but let's keep going now. We're going to try to get to at least the 3rd stage to showcase some of the other enemies, as well as how fast these cars can actually get, but we're doing fine so far. We just need to be careful. Alright. Let's keep going. So another thing worth mentioning that this game is pretty iconic for its theme. Every time you die, you hear the iconic jingle. And I'm sure that's probably been etched into several gamers' minds throughout the years. Heck, they even use it as one of those songs that the creators of Pac-Man Fever made. I believe it's called the Frogger's Lament, or Ode to Frog, something like that. It's pretty good, actually. I'd recommend it. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, watch out for the gator. There we go. Alright, so look how fast the car is getting. You're gonna see some more enemies into the lake area. Things are getting pretty drastic for Frogger at this point. But let's speak. Oh, see what I mean? But yeah, there was the snake, there was the otter. So, I think that sums up Frogger pretty well. For what it was, this is still heavily considered one of the most iconic arcade games to come out in 1981. And although the series has not exactly recovered from it, and I do hope that one day it could return to its former glory in a good way, not a bad way. One can only dream. But for what it was, this has been Frogger. So if you guys liked the video, be sure to leave a like and comment below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Go, Froggy, go. Gotta keep on hopping until you get to the top.